Support comes from Sunnyside Village Co-housing. Live in mutual support with neighbors of all ages in a co-housing village of cottages in Marysville. It's the best of both worlds. Active rural living by Puget Sound with easy access to Seattle. More at sunnysidevillagecohousing.com.
Hi, I'm Joshua McNichols, host of KUOW's podcast, Booming. Join me and the Big Dig podcast for a conversation about the decisions shaping our highways, from removing the Alaskan Way Viaduct to the future of I-5 and Highway 99. That's Monday, October 27th at 7 p.m. at the Central Library in downtown Seattle. RSVP for this free event at kuow.org/events. See you there.
KUOW live events are sponsored by Finney Ridge Painting.
Tech CEOs have been making some bold claims about AI lately.
What we are finding is we are not far from a world, I think we'll be there in 3 to 6 months, where AI is writing 90% of the code.
Coding looks like one of the first real-world skills AI is close to mastering.
And then in 12 months, we may be in a world where AI is writing essentially all of the code.
AI coding tools are helping a lot of people build apps and websites. No technical expertise required.
Vibe coding, or using AI to help write code, is steadily gaining ground.
But there's a problem.
It turns out, handing the keyboard over to a robot can end up costing more time and money than hiring a human to do that work. I'm Monica Nicholsberg.
I'm Joshua McNichols, and this is Booming, a podcast about the economic forces shaping our lives here in the Pacific Northwest.
Today, the unintended consequences of replacing human coders with AI. And what can we learn about embracing this technology too fast from the cleanup crew that's mopping up AI slop? That's coming up.
Andy? You gonna clean that up?
Oh, yeah, I will. I don't have time right now.
Clean it up and come to my office for the meeting.
So, Monica, vibe coding is having a moment. Have you tried it?
I have not tried it. I have thought about it. I have a few ideas, particularly I would just love for there to be an app that takes over the decision making of what my family's going to have for dinner every night. I can't believe every week I have to figure that out again. But I haven't actually built something using AI like that. Have you?
Yeah. I asked ChatGPT to create a program that goes through my family's digital photos and weeds out the duplicates.
That's a good idea.
Deletes them. At first, I thought it was like the answer to my prayers because our family photo archive is just a complete mess. But my son, the computer science major, told me that it only looks like it's deleting the correct photos. Under the hood, I have no idea what it's doing. It was kind of like a ghost ship, something sailing on its own power, but without a pilot.
That is a perfect metaphor for something that is happening more and more often. As you've experienced, AI generates all kinds of content, and sometimes it's kind of nonsense. There's a term for this now, AI slop.
Yeah.
I've been talking to freelance coders, and they say that because of this AI slop phenomenon, they're seeing this big jump in what they call rescue jobs.
Rescue jobs.
Yeah, this is when a company hires a freelance developer to fix code that isn't performing the way they expected it to. And it's happening way more often. These AI tools are pretty good at building a prototype that looks good at first glance, like your photo app. But then when you look closer, you find all these errors. The AI is making coding choices that just don't really make sense, like creating security issues, stuff like that. I heard this from Phil Anderson.
We've got probably 20 or 30 contracts on deck, large ones. A national hospital chain that's having us clean up all of their AI-generated crap that another contractor had generated with AI, thinking that they were going to cut corners. It's not ready yet.
Phil is the Senior Vice President of Development at Seattle Software Developers. It's a firm that builds apps and websites for clients. And he told me about one of his clients, this rancher in Texas, whose biggest problem is keeping track of his cattle when something goes wrong with them. So cattle are tagged, right? And this rancher had hired someone to build an app that tracks the location of his cattle using AI to do it cheaply.
His biggest expense is looking over the cattle to make sure something hasn't died, been mauled, old age, attacked by a bear, whatever. So he wanted an app that tracks geo versus having 40 guys on 4x4 quads every day and another 40 on horseback. So he blew through 52 grand.
52 grand might sound like a lot of money, but it's actually pretty cheap for having a whole custom app built. But it was unusable. And so he then went to Phil to see what could be done. And I'm pretty sure Phil thought it had to be redesigned from scratch because the code was really buggy and broken.
So he wasted like 50 grand on a program that didn't work. But this guy, Phil, like his company makes money from fixing problems like that. So it's not surprising that he would promote this idea that all AI-generated code is a disaster waiting to happen. Is he just stamping down on the hype for his own benefit?
I wondered the same thing, but I just kept hearing about this from more and more freelance developers. So I started thinking about how I could find some data to back up their claims. And that's when I thought of Fiverr, which is this online marketplace where people who need tech help can go to find freelancers. I asked them if they had any numbers that might support what I'd been hearing anecdotally, and their research team pulled some reports that honestly kind of shocked me.
Well, what did the numbers say?
So between October of last year and March of this year, which is the time frame when they run their reports, jobs looking for freelancers who can fix WordPress errors have increased 712%.
Wow. Okay.
And that's not all. Clients that need help fixing bugs on their Shopify platforms more than tripled, and more general website maintenance requests more than quadrupled. Now, we should note that there's no way to know exactly how many of those rescue jobs are to fix AI-generated code. But taken together, the stats and these anecdotal stories started to paint a picture for me.
Okay. So it sounds like we're seeing this huge jump in demand for human software engineers to clean up AI slop. But I guess I'm wondering how big a problem this really is. Is it so bad that a company uses AI to get most of the way there and then brings in a human to take a project across the finish line?
Yeah, it's a good question. But it doesn't necessarily work in that kind of linear way where you have something that gets close to the finish line and then a human can come in and get it there. Phil said that he and his team most of the time have to rebuild and redesign something from scratch because the AI-generated code is so problematic. If a client keeps trying to build on top of the wonky AI code, it can create something called technical debt.
Technical debt.
Yeah, this is a term that I learned from Owen Bick. He's an engineering manager for a healthcare company, and he freelances on the side.
Technical debt is essentially when there's a better way to do something, but it's more complicated and it will take a lot more time. So you do the easy solution for now, but it's not going to scale. It's not going to work on a bigger scale. And then as you continue and build on top of it, you're paying interest on that debt, right? It's going to keep building up.
Owen said eventually that interest is going to cost clients a lot more time and money than if they'd just done it the old-fashioned way.
I would say the TLDR, a lot of the time when you do AI vibe coding, especially when you have to then fix it, it would have taken you an hour to write the code, but instead it took you 5 minutes to write the code, but now you have to spend 2 hours fixing the code because it doesn't work.
Yeah, that makes sense. I imagine this is all kind of vindicating for software engineers who keep being told that AI is going to put them out of the job.
I'm sure it is to some degree. I think if I were a junior coder listening to this story, I would have a little bit of schadenfreude. But that's not going to pay the bills. Things are really tough for young coders trying to break into this industry right now, between all of the tech layoffs, hiring freezes, and AI doing some of that entry-level work. And that could mean that AI isn't just causing headaches for companies when they need to clean up the slop. It also means that those companies might not have a pool of experienced engineers who know how to do that cleanup work down the line.
I see. So the AI is basically like a junior programmer who needs supervision from more experienced programmers, but at the same time, AI is stealing work from junior programmers, which means the pipeline for experienced programmers could dry up.
Yeah, exactly. For freelancers, it's a little bit different. This phenomenon is creating work for them, at least in the short term. And not all of them think that this explosion in vibe coding is a bad thing. I talked to Mia Kotelik about this. She's a freelance engineer, and like the others that I talked to, she's getting more and more rescue projects. She's actually working on one right now for a client. Mia said AI is making it easier for people to get in over their heads, But she still thinks that helping more people get their projects off the ground is ultimately a good thing.
I wouldn't tell them, don't use AI tools or try and make a prototype yourself. It's a great learning experience. And I've seen a lot of people get funding with a prototype that they made with AI as a proof of concept. But I wouldn't make any of those decisions without consulting somebody who has that technical background and is able to help you make those decisions.
Monica, we know these tools are just going to continue to get better and better. We've even seen that in the last couple of years with things like the AI summary on Google. When they first rolled it out, it made all kinds of embarrassing mistakes. Things about eating rocks, I seem to remember.
Yeah, I don't think today it's still telling people to use glue to hold their pizza together.
Right. It's more reliable now. So how many of these issues are just growing pains, just working out the kinks of a new technology?
It's hard to say. Pretty much all the developers I talked to agreed that eventually AI is going to get pretty good at coding. But the timeline is up for debate. Phil, for example, thinks we're maybe 10 to 20 years from it being able to meaningfully take over a project. And Mia told me she thinks that there are some things that it might never be able to do.
Most of what the core of the skill is actually on the design side of things, like the software architecture design. And that's like choosing what kind of database, choosing what languages you're going to use, what things you're going to deploy your app with. All of those choices are kind of part of the design, and they affect speed and price and all of these things. And that's usually what a human's going to be better at.
All of those decisions have pros and cons. What language you use, what frameworks. And you need someone who understands the goal of the project, the budget, the various constraints to weigh how everything fits together. That kind of complex decision-making and judgment calls are just hard for AI to replicate.
So it sounds like the solution is to use AI to support that human decision-making.
I think so, but the problem is we're blowing up that road that junior coders take to become those high-level decision-makers. Instead of hiring junior developers, companies are using AI to do the basic code that builds that foundation for young people. And it's not just happening in software. It's really hard to get on the career ladder in a big range of white-collar jobs right now.
Yeah, it seems like every day we're seeing headlines about layoffs. It's a hard time to get your foot in the door, especially if you're just getting out of college.
So it comes back to that idea of technical debt, although a different version of it. Instead of investing in the long-term benefits of a trained workforce, companies are going for the short-term savings of using AI to do all kinds of entry-level work. And in the software field, we're just starting to see the consequences of that.
Yeah. I could imagine that same thing happening in legal work or, any other profession.
Journalism.
Yeah. Okay, Monica. Well, we'll keep following your reporting to see how this all shakes out. Coming up next, the end game. Welcome back. It's the end game, and we've got our producer, Lucy Suchek, here.
Okay, so we're talking about AI slop in this episode, and I was having trouble coming up with a cool game. So I turned to AI.
Which one?
ChatGPT.
Okay.
4, because I don't pay for 5. And asked if it could come up with some game ideas, and it did, and it came up with an amazing game idea.
Oh.
It's called Hallucination Telephone.
ChatGPT, so it's kind of telling on itself here, is like,
it's telling
I know
on
I
itself.
hallucinate a lot.
Yeah.
Let's make some fun out of it.
Yeah, it's like, I am the queen of AI slop. I can come up with the best AI slop. Here you go.
Okay.
So basically, what Hallucination Telephone is I give it one sentence, a very simple sentence, and then it comes up with different versions of the sentence that get worse and worse as it goes on, that are AI slop, like basically nonsense. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to read one of the nonsense sentences, the AI slop version, and I want you to tell me what the original sentence was.
Oh, fun.
Love it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to start with one that I think is like kind of easy, just to get you going.
Okay.
Here's the AI slop sentence. Hydro shield apparatus lies forsaken on the vehicle's seat.
Oh my God.
Hydro shield apparatus lays forsaken on the vehicles. Is that? Somebody left their umbrella in the car.
Exactly.
That was amazing.
The sentence was, I forgot my umbrella in the car.
Wow. That one goes to Joshua.
Nice job. Okay, next. This one's really crazy. All the verbs escaped out the window, leaving only dust bunnies in my imagination.
All the verbs escaped out the window, leaving only dust bunnies in my imagination.
Is it I lost the plot?
No, but close.
Is it I can't remember something?
No, but close, kind of.
Something's on the tip of my tongue.
I lost the plot was closer.
Somebody was on the at a loss for words.
Yes, getting there. Do you want another one? Another version of the sentence?
Sure.
Okay. The alphabet unionized and abandoned me in my hour of narrative need.
What?
The alphabet unionized and left.
Oh, I have writer's block?
Yes.
Yes.
I am having writer's block.
Wow.
Oh, a block like a strike, like like the letters unionized and went on strike.
Exactly.
That is quite a stretch.
Okay.
But it's actually kind of poetic now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's very riddle-like.
Yeah.
Like the AI slop is very riddle.
Uh-huh.
This one is called the bonus hallucination spiral, which is I asked it to come up with the 3 sentences and then do it again. So it's like even crazier sentences.
Okay.
We're going deeper down the black hole.
Okay.
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the holy geometry of triangles bearing the sacred red saucers.
Whoa.
Okay, I pledge allegiance to the sacred geometry of triangles.
To the holy geometry of triangles bearing the sacred red saucers.
Is it I pledge allegiance to the flag?
No.
So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Is that right?
Where are you going with this?
Pythagorean theorem.
The Pythagorean theorem.
Sacred geometry, but that's like Mandela's and like I have no idea.
You guys are taking it too literal.
Okay.
I'll give you another one. My emotional stability depends on molten cheese surfaces dotted with crimson mystery coins.
I love pizza.
Yes.
Oh, very good. It's pepperoni pizza.
I like pepperoni on my pizza.
Okay. Wait, were those both the same sentence?
Yeah, those were both because so we had something about say the first one again about
sacred geometry was pizza?
I pledge allegiance to the holy geometry of triangles bearing the sacred red saucers.
I love pepperoni pizza.
Yep.
That is deranged.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta say, AI is very good at making up its own slop.
True.
There is something slightly dystopian about the idea of like AI offering us humans, the only role we have left is to play its little games.
I just love that it was like, oh, you want AI slop? I'll show you AI slop.
It's also trying to prove itself, too, a little bit here.
I think it succeeded. This was a very unique game.
Well, I'm glad you guys had fun.
Thanks, fun. Lucy.
Thanks. That's it for Booming. Thanks so much for listening.
And we have a question for you. Have you or someone you know decided to go to a trade school instead of pursuing a 4-year degree? If so, we want to hear from you. Tell us why. Leave us a voicemail at 206-221-7158, or you can email us at booming@kuow.org.
Also, special thanks to those of you who are donating to the show. If you want to donate, go to kuow.org/booming. Thanks.
Our producers are Lucy Suchek and Alec Cowan. Our editor is Carol Smith. I'm Monica Nicholsberg.
I'm Joshua McNichols.
And we'll see you next time.
On the latest Sound Politics, Jimmy Kimmel is back on air in Seattle. The hiatus and return highlighted a consolidating media landscape that impacts what you see on TV. It's a lot bigger than Jimmy. We'll break down the mergers that are taking place and how those companies are trying to gain favor with federal regulators with an expert from WSU. That's Sound Politics, wherever you get your podcasts.